Hi everyone. My name is Tracy Dadzi, and welcome to our podcast, which is called the Untamed Mic, where we talk about everything Zimbabwean culture, all the topics that people tiptoe around, that people don't want to talk about. This is where it's at, where we talk about each and everything that you're afraid of talking about. So today I'm not alone. I'm with my friends, the ones with untamed tongues that don't mind talking and sharing anything and everything. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. I'm
Hi
going to start with
guys.
Fadzi.
Okay. Hi guys. My name is Fadzi. Yeah, and I'm part of the Untamed podcast, and I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts with you guys.
Mm-hmm. Welcome, Fadzi.
Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Kundai. I am part of the Untamed podcast, and I'm excited to be here. Yeah.
Hi, Kundai. So these are the ladies that I'm going to be sharing with, and they're going to be sharing with all of you guys um, about different type of topics. So today's topic, drum roll please. We are going to talk about
Kidding.
today we're going to be talking about toxic parents. So I know some of you are already rolling their eyes and wondering, oh my gosh, what is she going to talk about? Because one thing about the Zimbabwean culture is you cannot talk about your parents. It's like a taboo.
Um,
It's like a no-go area. You can't really talk about your parents. And in this case, I've put the word toxic in front of parent. And I know you are like, what are these kids about to do? But this is a topic that's worth talking about because I believe that parents are the ones that nurture their kids to become whatever they're going to become. So if someone is going to become a successful person, someone who's going to be a sociable person, someone who's going to be kind, loving, and all that, you'd see that, like the saying goes, charity begins at home. Most of the things that happen to an adult is from their childhood. This also includes the traumas. This also includes the depression. You find out we've got people that are still um, on about what happened to them kudara, like uh in this case now we're talking about parents hatisikutaura ana sekuru because the most talked about topics are ndina sekuru vangu vakandidai, ndina tete vangu vakandidai, but we shy away from saying, oh, my mom used to beat me up so much, oh, my mom used to call me fat, and oh, my mom used to call me ugly. So just to kickstart the topic, there's a post that I actually picked up on Facebook when I was just scrolling, and actually it's an anonymous post, no one put any name, so I'm just going to read it to you guys, and then that's how we can just start and talk about this topic. So it says, it's in Shona, actually it's mixing Shona and English. So it says, ndarwadziwa nenyaya iyi sure, I was raised by a toxic mother. I remember once she undressed mberi kwangu nemabrothers angu, vakahumburuka pasi, vakasunga dumbu, saying muchaita munyama. She kept
oh,
showing kushama kwavo, saying makabuda neapa mese imbwa dzevana. Long story, I'm still trying to heal from that. This is an adult writing
wow.
this. I'm
That
still
is
trying
wild.
to heal. Yeah, I'm still trying to heal from this. I came to UK recently, and I am glad I am far from her. I love her, but I know Havandile. She once told me kuti wakashata and you never get married. I tried kuzviuraya ndiri mudiki because of the things that my mom used to say to me. Ndikamukira kuchipatara the next day. She told people I tried kuzviuraya because vanga vanditsiura kuti ndiri kuita chihure. Till today, she tries kutaura zvakaipa, but God still blesses me. She will not win. Toxic parents exist.
Mm, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's deep.
Like,
Wow, that's deep.
that's deep. So, what's your take, guys? Maybe Fadzi, you can go first.
I think it's actually quite sad because I'm a mom, right? And I have two girls. I can't imagine saying those kind of things to my kids.
Mm,
But I feel like we also need to, because in for me, right, I like to really look at things from the roots. And is it
mm,
what caused this mom to feel like that about her kids?
mm,
Could it be? And I'm not defending her, her issues of talking to her kids in that way, undressing in front of kids, GGG. I mean, that's such a safeguarding thing. Like even here in the UK, like that is just like, it's so unacceptable. But like if we look at my toxic parents, a lot of them, they also come from toxic parents.
mm,
You know, some mothers don't know how to be mothers because they never had a mother, or
mm,
their mothers were never, mothers to them. You
mm,
know what I mean? Like, it's not an excuse, of course, but like, I just feel like toxic parents are there. Toxic parents exist. And in our culture, you can't talk about it because mind the mind, right?
mm,
Remember, there's this whole be my goes kind of thing. Awukwanisi
mm,
ubathuka, awukwanisi ukubavunza, like even just growing up, going to your parents to be like, why more kundidai? Like it'll be like, you're talking back at me, but are you talking back or you're genuinely asking good? But why are you guys hitting me? Like, you can't really like defend yourself when it comes to our African parents.
mm,
So like, yeah, toxic parents definitely do exist. And I feel like it's so sad that this person has to grow up knowing that their own mother does not love them, does not want them to get married, does not look at them as a child, cannot give them, motherly love. And
mm.
I feel like it's really heartbreaking. And yeah, it's a lot to deal with. But I just feel like as parents, we really need to break the cycle. We need
Yeah.
to break the cycle. If
Mm,
you are growing up today with a toxic parent and Kuti, maybe your mom was always harsh, angry, out of vulgar words, or maybe your dad was a ruthless person and all these things. Or maybe you didn't grow up with a toxic parent, but your parent was a toxic person to someone else. That
mm,
automatically makes your parent toxic, though they were not toxic to you. Do you know
mm,
what I mean? Like there was this post that I saw on Facebook about this guy who was talking about how like his mom was so mean to his cousins. So his cousins' parents were late. So they sort of um um they grew up with the cousin.
mm,
So the mom was like really mean to the cousin. Ndiyayithi bazalise mumba anzayiphikids were like second-hand clothes. They should be like, you won't fake hembe the second-hand because uri nerera,
mm,
like hurtful things like that.
mm,
Though to him, his mom was so nice. She was a mother, she'd give motherly advice, she was, like a whole mother's love. But to someone else, she's completely toxic.
mm.
You know what I mean?
And
So
I
like,
can I think
yeah,
also in her being nice to the child and toxic to the cousin, it still makes her a toxic parent because
yeah,
this child is still learning from the mother. So you find out that this child will grow up thinking that cousins don't matter. I know we all have got cousins
yeah,
out there who just look at you like your family doesn't matter, or we are better than you, or they don't even want to associate with you. But it's all the from what was happening, like for example, this guy that you're talking about, because he grew up seeing Kuti, okay, my mom only takes care of us. So in the family unit, it's only Inini ne my mom who are important. Cousins don't
and the
matter.
outsiders don't matter. Exactly.
Outsiders don't matter. So, in as much as the mom was being nice to the son, she was actually not being nice because she's actually teaching the son the wrong things in her
Exactly.
being nice to the son and being cruel to the
Yeah,
cousin.
yeah.
Mm,
And this is the exact same thing. that will then cause that child to treat their other relatives exactly like the same how the mom was, yeah. So like I just feel like parents should just try and do better. Parents
Mm.
should just try and do better, be better, and just be nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes just be nice. Say sorry, you know? Say sorry
Mm.
to your kids. Apologize if you're wrong. If you're not wrong, cool, but then apologize. It's also back in the day, even if you find out your mom was the one who misplaced the thing that she was looking for and Rafu showered up with all sorts of things, she will tell you, Sha, I don't have to apologize to you. It's my plate anyway. You're in my
Ex-
house. You're like, do you know what I mean? And you're just like, but you're blaming me for something that I didn't do. Can't you just say, sorry, and didn't that misplace that? But you find out you're not going to perpetrate for something that you didn't do. So it's
mm.
like we as today's generational parents, we need to break the cycle and just try and not be toxic. But yeah, on that story, yeah, that girl, I just feel like she's going through a lot. I can't
Mm.
imagine being in that position where my mom says something so hurtful like that. And
Mm.
like a mother is someone that you trust with your life.
Mm.
A mother, someone you trust with your life. So I just hope that she finds healing. Yeah, it's really sad.
Kundai, what do
Okay.
you think about this story? And you can still add on about toxic
So
parenting.
with regards to the story, I think these are my thoughts. Um, it's heartbreaking. But I think we're forgetting something. I think the main thing that we're forgetting is, parenting does not come with a script, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have no script on how you're going to parent someone. It's a first time thing for everyone because there's no script. So the script that's then used is what we know, right? So in this scenario, Jokuti Vano, Shama and whatever, maybe that's an expression of disappointment, or even though it's bizarre to us, right? But maybe that's what she knows because that's what she was taught. Kuti kana wa boyikana nevana vako, you have to express yourself to such limits, right? And I know it's funny, but we I think we have to kind of give grace and not forget the concept that parenting is new to everyone. We have no script on how to parent.
Hold up.
No,
Hold
no,
up. Hold up.
Guys,
Hold up.
we don't have a script. No,
Kundai,
guys.
no,
We
no,
we
girl,
guys
wait,
nah.
wait.
we have no
Nah,
script.
nah,
We have
fam,
no
nah.
script on
You
parenting.
have no script, but you know right from wrong, Kundai. You cannot
What?
call
Okay.
your child ugly just because you don't
Okay.
have a script. You
Okay.
cannot tell your child that you are not going to get married just because you don't have a script.
Guys,
That's
let's
not an
put
Okay.
excuse. You
listen,
cannot undress yourself in front of your kids because you do not have a script.
listen.
Guys, you're talking
This
from a
woman
place of privilege.
literally would undress herself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
in front of her
Mm-hmm.
kids. Of
Mm-hmm.
which I think in the post you said that the kids were also like boys and girls and did it.
Boys and girls.
Mm-hmm.
And
Boys
she
and
was
girls
showing
and
them
did it.
where they
So
came from. She
already
was showing them where they came from.
that's
She's saying,
abuse already.
"Makabani apa."
It's abuse
Okay.
one and did it. Two, and then
Eh.
you
We need a
point and
script
say
for that.
you Mark,
No, guys. No, seriously.
no. You
No,
don't need a
but
Nah,
script to
fam.
no,
know
hear me out.
that's not
Hear
okay.
me out. Hear me out. We have not finished. So,
Hmm.
apana mnanoya any script. Yokuti, this is how parenting is supposed to be, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
your first time doing this, right? So, like I said, maybe this is the first, maybe even my vacho, my vavo, kana va boy kana nevana, all the same thing. We don't know because we base zvatinoziva ndo guys ndo point yavo yekuziva, although it's
Yeah,
bizarre, but
yeah,
ndo point yavo
yeah.
your point yavo how she knows how to parent, right? Because kids will learn like this, like we always say, kids learn from observation. Maybe not right. I
Yeah.
might have also heard. Maybe that's an expression of kutama kwabo. We don't know, and it's bizarre
Yeah.
to us. Then the second thing that I want to kind of address is what is it? What does it mean to be a toxic parent? How do we define a toxic parent?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Right. And I was really thinking about that, right?
Yes.
So I'll give you an example.
Yes.
My own personal example.
Yes.
So I'm a mom, right? I have a 7-year-old
Yes.
daughter. She loves my
Yes.
phone.
Yes.
She takes my phone, plays games on it. She'll go on my camera, takes photos, etc. And
Yes.
so sometimes she can just take my phone while I'm cooking and I don't even know she has it, right?
Okay.
So this one day I wake up early and I go to the bathroom, I take a shower. While I'm showering, right, my podcast was on my phone. Sagananda sa phone chi per windowsill and did it.
Mm-hmm.
Then and I left my phone by the windowsill and did it. Dressed up, completely forgot because my phone was per windowsill and did it.
Mm-hmm.
I go downstairs, I go about my day. Then the next thing I'm thinking, I don't know phone and I can't find my phone. My daughter was watching TV. Immediately, I went straight to her. "Nduda phone yangu. Where's my phone? You took my phone." She said, "No, mommy, I didn't take your phone." Like, no, you are teaching.
Mm.
And like I was literally looking everywhere for the phone and we couldn't find it. Um Couch, and all of that. We still couldn't find the phone. Then I go upstairs to use the bathroom, and what do I see? The phone is on the windowsill. There's no way that my daughter would have put the phone sheet per windowsill. It was my mistake. I went
Mm-hmm.
downstairs to my 6-year-old child at that time. And I
Mm-hmm.
asked her for forgiveness. And I said, Amara, I'm sorry I shouted at you for something that you did not do. I
Mm-hmm.
blamed you for something that you did not do. Please
Mm-hmm.
forgive mommy. I found my phone by the windowsill. And is it?
Mm-hmm.
For
Mm-hmm.
me, I feel like this is just my personal opinion to it. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like if you are a parent and you cannot acknowledge that you're wrong and that you've
Mm-hmm.
done wrong to your kids and you don't apologize for that, to me, you are toxic.
According to who?
So
According
that's
to
her
me,
opinion. And then
according
now,
to me,
Uh-huh.
Urimun are
now,
toxic.
mm,
Eh,
Because do you know what? If I had
uh-huh.
just kept quiet and this, they won't have
Uh-huh.
with you're doing that stop blame and then I don't say anything and this, and then she
Mm-hmm.
finds the phone. Ako na mama what my phone packet. She's obviously gonna come back to me and say, "Ko mama, ko phone in my one, ko yanga like I left it upstairs in the bathroom." She's
mm,
gonna leave and be like, so she was blaming me for something that I didn't do, and she doesn't even
mm,
apologize. Look, these are just small, little, tiny examples, and they're bigger things that
Mm-hmm.
happen in our families that you should have gotten an apology, but it never came because your
Mm-hmm.
mom is just like, "Burimwana, you know what? I don't need to apologize to you, Chichi." To me, that's a toxic trait. Why can't you
Okay,
apologize?
Fadzai,
I
on
think
that
that's
point.
my definition. Drop on my
Huh?
definition. I'll go on that point. Continue.
On that
Like, I
point,
Mm.
want to.
Fadzai, this is what I want to. On that point, let's kind of hold on Fadzai's point, about apologizing and taking accountability, right? The
Yeah,
reason why you can acknowledge that is because you have come aware that not getting an apology, right, is kind of lacking accountability. So as a parent, I should then be aware. You are aware of, I guess you're aware of your child's feelings. What's the word? You're aware of. I think
constant.
you're considerate of
Okay,
your child's feelings because you have awareness of what that lack of accountability can do, right?
can do to
But
yeah.
then you're talking from a place of privilege because you are aware of that situation. You understand how trauma works. You understand a better meaning of the importance of um just taking accountability on raising your kids. But that's a place of privilege, Fazai, because not everyone has got that awareness. So for
Okay, can I
instance,
say something?
yes,
Anybody to
Can
say
I say
something?
something? Just to
yes,
answer
Yeah.
that, right? Just
yes,
to answer today on the point of privilege. I don't think it comes, okay, like I said again, this is just my opinion and this is, I don't
Yes.
think it comes from a point of privilege. I think it
Yeah.
just comes from, you know what's right and what's wrong. Everyone knows this is good, this is bad, and this guy.
No.
Even the word of God says, do unto others as you'd like them to do unto you. And they say, would you like to be blamed for something that you didn't do? Right? And then they
Mhm.
realize, oh yeah, no, actually, it's not your fault. And then you don't apologize. And is it?
But then Fadzai, okay, you said
And then
even in
you
the
don't get that
Bible,
apology. I mean, you don't get that apology. How would you feel? Guys,
Fadzai.
do you know what? Musati Tauro they don't know what they're doing. These people know what they are.
Yeah, this is wait. I also want to add on, like, um, my definition. You asked definition, Yuguti, what is the
What is
definition of a
toxic?
toxic parent mean? I feel like going to extremes knowingly. When you are going to extremes with your child knowingly, you are automatically becoming toxic because you know kuti zvandiri kuita zvakafanira kuti Fadzi gave her example, right? She literally found the phone and she remembered she's the one who left the phone. For me, it's not like we are saying parents should always apologize or things like that. You are aware of the things that you have done wrong. What are you choosing to do when you realize kuti, you know what, ndini ndakarasa plate iyi kana kuti ndini ndisina kusuka maplate yesterday or whatever it is, ndini ndakasiya phone. What are you choosing to do? It's that pride to say inini and I'm not going to apologize because I'm a parent, right? You're
Mm.
saying inini ndiri mama saka, just because maybe that's how you were raised, you're told kuti as a mother you don't apologize. But what we are trying to say now in the now is, maybe if this continues to happen, let's say Fadzi is the parent who doesn't apologize,
Mhm.
she keeps doing that to Amara and threatening her kuti ndiwe watora chaka changu. She finds the thing, haana zvaanotaura. She doesn't apologize to the child. She continues as if life is perfect, life is sweet. The next day she misses something, she blames Amara. The next thing, it's becoming a continuous thing. Do you know that child is going to grow in fear? Kuti, every single time I'm going to be blamed for things that I didn't do. That child, this is how we are nurturing pathological liars, because this child is going to always feel the need to lie, because every time mommy is going to blame me for something that I didn't do, so I'm always going to be ready to protect myself, because mama vanogara vachitondi blame anyangwe ndisina kuita chinhu.
Mhm.
The moment you are going to extremes, the moment you are overdoing things knowingly, you are becoming a toxic parent. This woman that we just read about, that was too extreme. She was rolling on the floor naked. Do you think she doesn't have a conscience to know that this is wrong? She has a conscience. She knows, even though her mom was doing it, knows that her mom was doing it and she knew it was wrong. But because of Mama Avatsurwe, Mama Avaudzwe, we are not saying you are going to tell your mom in a harsh way. Get us right. It's not an issue of saying, "Imimi mabama didai so chichichi." We are not creating a fight here. We are saying, let's talk shakanaka as human beings. Let's talk shakanaka manangu. You did A, B, C, D. There's no need for you to roll on the floor naked. Because you know that's not
Guys,
right. If I am also to take off my clothes and start rolling off and saying whatever, how's that house going to look like?
but I always come back to this, guys. Muri kutaura henyu handiti kuti mai ava kubvisa hembe kwavo kwavakaita handiti, but muri kukangama fact yekuti ini muri kutaura kuti zviri bizarre, right? Because mune exposure, mune awareness kuti no, there's something wrong. Muri kunzwisisa impact yekubvisa kana kuti trauma inobvisa kuti munhu anobvisa hembe kuexpressa kuti ndakatsamwa, but hamuzivi kuti maybe that's how they do things traditionally. I don't know. We don't know. So then I'm then saying, handisi kuti zvavakaita is right. But I'm
No, you know what?
saying
I
that
get what you're
you
saying.
guys you're neglecting exposure, awareness, and just realizing in the long run, it's going to make an impact on my kids. She doesn't know that. There's no way of knowing that. And right now we're talking about situation. It's just accountability. We make it seem like it's so simple for parents to be accountable for their actions, but it's such a it's I think it's a very difficult concept that a lot of people struggle with. Kukoti inini nasi, inini kunda, because when you're a parent, Anditi, the initial what can I say? When you're a parent, it's more of you kind of have to figure out. You have to seem like you know what you're doing, right? And because vana they're
Yeah.
under you and it. So then for them to then say kuti sha pano pa maraka ndakutadzira, sorry, that's not something easy, guys. Let's not make it seem like it's something that's easy. It's easier for our generation because I think there's exposure and awareness. But for generation email, awareness. It's actually bizarre. Could sure a parent must apologize, right? So that's what I'm trying to say, Kuti. We are talking from a kind of a place of privilege because we've got exposure and the awareness. But if you don't have the awareness and the exposure, it's a norm. It becomes a norm. That's all you know.
Fine. Okay, cool. So, like, you know what? I completely understand what you're saying. And, like, even when you're explaining it, I really, like, understood what you're saying. Because there's so many, like, dynamics to it. There's culture. There is just how someone was raised, their morals, the values that they grew up in, the dramatics. Kudhara ukoko zvainzi ukaona mai vakurira hembe vanyatsotsamwa.
Yes.
Kind of thing. Fine. And this, but then choro zvakadaroka, these kids are growing up with that in their mind for probably the rest of their life.
About the generation?
How do they move with that? And what kind of relationship does a son have after seeing his mother naked? And how does if you women, even if he's probably gonna think, you know, you're so dramatic, you're so this, you're so that, and this. So guys, you're not fine. You might not know that you're toxic in your whatever doings that you're doing, but whatever it is that you're doing is affecting your kids. And and now this girl is saying, how do I move past my vanonti ndakashata and you know that vandikurira hembe and vakurirwa hembe, meaning kuti she probably can't even just go to mom and say, mama, you know, back then pepe pamakandidai pakamba makandidai inini zvukundikanganisa, I can't get over it. I just feel like she probably knows, but she can never have that kind of conversation with her mother, and she's trying to deal with it because you know what, Kundai, you're a mom, and if you tell your daughter that she's ugly, right, and even if she's not, even if she's the most beautiful girl in the world, and and if other people even tell her, no, but you're so pretty, she in the back of her mind, I don't know,
but my
because
mom
the one
it.
person who gave birth to her told her that she's ugly, and Saka to her, it's I'm ugly, and she will continue to see that ugliness, and because my vaka whether she knew kutishamu, and look, I know cultures are cultures, but guys, apana munhu anoda unzi akashata, and even iwo mai vavo vakanzi makashata, she wouldn't like it. So my thing is this: you know what you're doing, and put yourself in your kids' shoes to say, would I like to be called ugly? Would I like to be said to, and if my mother had said that to me, how would I feel? Would I like it? If I don't like it, why am I saying it to my kids?
Because that's why
you know. No, wait a minute.
No, but
no.
You might know that, and but after you know that, and who is the grandmother to your kids? How did that make you feel? Let's start there.
You know
how did it make you feel when your mom said to you, Iwewe, let's say she saw her mom do the same, and and then she called mimi makashata after your mother had said that to you. How did it make you feel? Did you feel good about it? Did you feel like, no, you know what, this woman is talking nonsense, in any one day I'm going to get married, I know I'm going to get... how did it make you feel? If it made you feel like you're worthless, like you're not good enough, low self-esteem, why then do you continue to then do that same thing to your kids? Because if it's even a culture thing, you could know culture yedu isusu, it doesn't mean kuti she means it. People don't just say stuff, guys. Words
I
come
just
from
want to,
somewhere.
I want to say something. Let's not keep using culture as an excuse to be cruel and to be unkind,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone is going to continue with that, saying, oh, that's how I was raised. Oh, my mom
Mm-hmm.
used to do this to me, so I'm going to do this to my child. Because right now we are making excuses of our parents, because in this case, we're talking about our parents. And then I'm sure there's going to be a podcast about us in the future. But we are talking about, let's not keep using the past, or sorry, let's not keep using culture, or because it happened to them, so it's okay for them to do that to their children. Like Fadzi rightfully said, when it did happen to the mom, let's say it did happen to the mom, maybe
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe her mom used to do that as well. And then
Mm-hmm.
she felt like it's okay to also do it. However,
Mm-hmm.
when her mom did that, how did that make her feel? How did that make her feel? The fact that she felt something, because she definitely did, because she is human after all. She definitely felt something. The fact
Mm-hmm.
that she did feel something, why did she then feel the need to redo it again, to replay something that caused her emotional distress? And then now I'm going to talk about the you're ugly issue, because I feel like we're dwelling too long on the Visayembe. How do you tell your child that you're ugly? A child wakatakurewo 9 months, you go on to say you're ugly, and we are still blaming it on culture. Kuti, oh, maybe ivo mai vavo that you're ugly, or maybe zveshuwo, maybe ndomutauro waitaurwa kumba kwavo. Munhu uchitukira kunzi hai ichi chakangoshata. It's still there. Like, let's talk about the broader aspect of things like this. People in families are being called fat, they're being called barren, they are being called by their own parents. We are not talking about cousins, we are not talking about friends. We are talking to
Mm-hmm.
the people that are supposed to be protecting them, the people that are supposed to be praying for them, and the same people that are actually going around calling them barren, calling them fat, calling them ugly, calling them you never get married. We are talking about parents in this case. And my point is, why would you feel the need to say such hurtful words to your own child? When I'm talking about ugliness, no one wants to be called ugly, even Ivo Maivavo, kubasa kwavo, whatever, vakaudzwa
Mm.
my workmates kuti makashata. How does that make her feel? If that is making her feel somehow, why does she feel that it's okay for her to call her daughter ugly? Whether you're telling your child akafuta, akafuta, right? But there are so many reasons why someone can be fat. There are so many reasons why someone gains weight. But parents feel the need to say it in a nasty way. Our whole point is, at the end of the day, there is a nicer way of bringing out your point. Even if you are a parent, there is a kinder way and a nicer way to say things. You don't have to be rude about it. You don't have to be nasty about it. Talk to me nicely. I am your child. Let's have a conversation. This is what we're getting at. Even to the modern day generation of parents, let's have a conversation, because we now have boys who were told by their fathers, "Kuti, mkomana acheme, mkomana ite se." And because they were told mkomana acheme, zveshosha, they're bottling things. And this is why we are having suicides. Varume vari kuzviuraya because they're bottling things in their hearts, because his dad told him kuti mukomana acheme, mukomana anoshinga, mukomana anoita sei. They're going through things that they can't share with anybody, because they're just keeping everything in their little hearts, which are going to break at some point. So
Mm-hmm.
let's not condone um, silly behavior and hide behind culture and hide behind my mother used to do this to me. So because it's going to become a generational thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Just to comment, I hear you and I agree. But parenting, guys, is a choice. I guess this is where we kind of I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm agreeing. But I also want you guys to also see the other perspective, which
Mm.
is in Inang, I think that parenting is it's a tough job. It's not easy. And
Oh my God.
we tend to simplify the process and make it seem like it's easy, but it's not. So, for instance, let's bring out issue here, generational curses, right? For example, we make it seem like it's something that's so spiritual, but it's not. I don't think majority of the time it's spiritual. I think it's just behaviors that have not been addressed, right? And then they continue from generation to generation, and it. So it takes one person to have an honest conversation, to address, to be aware of what's going on, and it. But how many generations have gone? That's why sometimes history repeats itself, because we want to make it seem like it's it's simple to have my behaviors that we have learned over generations and then relearn to say this is the way that we need to do things. That is not an easy task, guys. To unlearn
Yeah,
is not
yeah.
an easy task. It's not.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's
It's
not.
not.
So that's why I'm kind of looking back and saying, Kuti, we have to kind of address and say, Kuti, okay, right now everybody's kind of modern and saying, Kuti, parents need to be accountable. They need to, but it's not an easy process, and it takes guts. It takes awareness to say, "Could I know this is where I went wrong? So let me address it so that it's like this and this and this and this and that." That process is hard, guys. It's hard because all your life you have known to do to kuti kana watsama unokurura hembe handiti ndokutsama kwako kwawagara uchiziva kuti unokurura hembe. So now wakunzi no wakufanira kutaura. Guys, musatama nazvo imi kuti no wakufanira kutaura wobva wati sorry kune vana. It's something, it's foreign. It's a foreign concept. So yeah, it's a foreign concept, but you have to be intentional, right? But it's not an easy process. I guess that's where my argument is. Not to say that it's right, but it takes work and intention, and you have to be intentional about it.
Okay.
It takes
Let's
work, and
wait.
also
Wait a minute. Let's move away from, because we are now seeming like toxicity is only, or because this lady akabisa hembe or called the child ugly.
yeah, that
Toxicity
was
is
just an
coming.
example.
This was an example, and we are dwelling too much now on the one example. But
Eh.
there are so many ways that parents are being toxic to their kids. There is, for example, parents, Christian parents. I'm now addressing Christian parents. They are Christian parents using the verse, spare the rod and beat the child, right? But they are now overusing it and misusing it. Like, this is when the toxicity come. At least kuti vananga vasarowe to the African parents who believe in sparing the road, right? But now it becomes abuse when it is every single thing you are lifting your hand and slapping the child. Every single thing, ukusumudza slippers, ukurova mwana. Every single thing, this is another form of toxicity. Why do you not? Okay, fair and fine. You are saying maybe ndosha vakakurova chitwa vakatongokura chibonzi ukamweta a little bit of something.
Yes.
Yatombama. But my argument with this whole notion is, how did he feel? How did she feel when this was happening? She also felt somehow. She also felt it was wrong for the father or for the mother to always beat her up. But why do you feel that your child is not feeling the same way as you were feeling when your dad was beating you up?
But not necessarily, Tracy. Not necessarily. So inini ndikarohwa handiti ndogonati ndezvekwawo and life goes on. Mumwe munhu akarohwa, Tracy ka anoti traumatized. So you also have to look at that. You also have to look at that concept. But maybe inini kurohwa anoti no handiti. Maybe iwo wakarohwa, it's a different you get a different response. So you also have to kind of look at that. You might think maybe it affects moon, but maybe it doesn't. And
you know what?
In this case, we are
also
talking about people who are affected by it. We are not looking at the other side, because yes, even every culture, it doesn't affect them. They're like,
Eh.
oh, yeah, she's really normal. Isusu, we are trying to attack on people who are being affected by the ways that their parents are treating them or the ways that their parents are raising them. We are trying to reach out to people who are now going through mental health issues because it's too much. Uyoyo
Or even just
akatozvonitwa fine
to,
kugara ndichirohwa bho zvokuti you are okay, stay in your corner, waifarira kurohwa. But now we want to talk about that person who feels like, no, I feel like it was too much. And that parent actually who is always beating up the child and using the word of God, kuti every situation needs you kuti urove mwana. It's not every situation. Sometimes sit down and talk to them. Just sit down and talk. Why do you feel like akapunza glass? Do you feel like akapunza glass, does it warranty kuti urohwe? Ukadonhedza sugar, does it warranty kuti urohwe? Ivo mama
I stand
havapunzawo
to say
glass
things
here.
that,
Ivo mama havapunzawo glass here. As a parent, do you
Zabuze,
also not make
mutavatenga.
mistakes? Do you also not make mistakes as a parent? Who beats you up when you break the glass? Nobody. So let's not try and normalize Gingy City normal. Uyo unorohwa achizvifarira, you might actually have a mental health problem because who likes to be beaten up? And I'm not talking about just a little speck, no. And this one going to once a month or whatever. No, I'm talking about continuous using the rod to actually deal with every and any situation. Because I believe nyenza izoita kuti urohwe unenge wanyasoita hombe chaiye chaiye. Vanhu vanoti unenge wavhura hombe kana mudhara ukaona abuditsa bhadhi wavhura. But there are parents out there. They don't care kuti wavhura hombe kana kuti diki, kudonhedza kweshuga impama, kupunza kapi impama, kunonoka kudzoka kumba impama. Every single thing is a tap.
Yeah.
This is who we are trying to talk to right now. To say, you know what, this is not right. If you're a parent listening, this is not right to think that ndofana ungovhundutsira mwana neshamu chete. Sit down and talk to them. Kana naye pasi, you know what, I don't appreciate you to be doing A, B, C, D. Because
And
I know
another
there are
thing as
parents
well.
who just assume kuti vana mazivano vanomboteerera here vakava. They've put every child in one basket. Vanomboteerera here,
Mm,
vanomboteerere, generation yemazivano haiteerere chichi. This is your child. Don't put them in a basket to think nekuti mwana wepa next door haasi kuteerera wako is the same. No.
yeah. And I feel like another thing as well, like it's also something that I've been seeing a lot, especially on these Facebook groups and stuff, about how people are really like opening up about, like kids that are in the diaspora. They're really like opening up about parents who continuously ask them for money and then like guilt trip them on "Ndidi mai vako, ndidi baba vako, taka kuchengeta, we
Mm,
sacrifice, we sacrifice, we sacrifice." And you're busy saying, guys, diaspora is not like that. The bills that I get are crazy. And they've already given you a list of what they want, and they expect those things to be done and to be met. And they don't care kuti, how are you going to get the money? They want it done. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
To
mm,
some people, they were just complaining with guys, how are you dealing with parents who feel like it's now your responsibility to literally give them the world, you know?
mm.
So like
It's like you owe them a debt.
take out
Mm.
so, and then they bring in the Bible as well, comes in there, kuti, you must honor your
Honor your
parents, you
father.
must honor your mother and father. And look, I'm a Christian, I go to church, I totally believe in that word and stuff like that. But I feel like there has to be a balance. There has to
Mm,
be a balance. But people are going through a lot with toxic parents. That's the truth. People are going through a lot. And whether it's coming from a cultural, background or ma-values avakakura nawo kunzi no kuti mwana akure ari straight tinofanira kurova chichichichichichi. And our parents might do that because izvo ndo zvakavachengetawo pavangu vari vana vadiki. Do you know what I mean? Vaitya kurohwa, so they knew kuti okay fine, I can't come home late because mama vanondirova. So maybe they just feel like no, isusu takaramba tichirova munhu anoita sei anopinda muline, anopinda like in the right way that they should be going. So I just feel like we just have to, of course, we can't erase the past for people that have gone through very, traumatic experiences with their parents and all of that. But what we can do is maybe just try and help them. Because fine, you went through some form of abuse from your parent, or you feel like your parent is toxic. What's the way forward from here?
mm, mm.
Do you know what I
That's
mean?
the
Like,
whole
how can
point.
you
Yeah.
overcome the issues? How can you overcome your emotions that you're feeling? Like how do you not feel alone, like in those type of situations?
Mm,
Yeah. And for me, I just really feel like I'm really big on therapy. I know a lot of people might be a bit, people are not really on board on it, but in any therapy works for me. Just having someone who you can talk to about your
Mm,
childhood traumas, especially someone that you don't know, is so helpful because it just helps you to just release
mm,
zvinhu wakatsimbirira for years and years and years and years and years. And also just to get like coping mechanisms on it,
mm,
like yeah, for me, I would say if you've really gone through a really hard time with your parents, if you can afford to go for therapy, please do. I know there are like I don't know, like mahabs that also like offer free counseling sessions. I know in Zimbabwe there's one in Onzi Friends on the bench friends, something like that. I don't know. We'll post it on the
mm.
link or something. Yeah, we'll look for it. But yeah, it's their friends of the bench or something. But I mean, they're there. If you Google for free counseling therapy sessions, you will get something. That's my recommendation. Some of these things you can't fight it alone mentally. You
Mm.
need someone to be there to help you out. So yeah, that's just my advice. And yeah.
For me, I would say like um the first place that you want to be when you have lived in a toxic home. Like we unfortunately we are not able to cover everything, but I guess people will come up with some toxic traits that maybe we didn't even mention. Akawanda. um and I feel like the first place for you to even begin your healing journey, because at the end of the day, the moral of this podcast is not to just talk and then we just leave it there. At the end of the day, we want whoever is listening to also know that there are people out there who've gone through the most, the same or less, or who've just gone through toxic parents as well. But I would say the first thing is for you to work on forgiving your parent. Like,
Mm,
forgiveness is the first place that you just need to release them, because I know for some people anenge akabatirira mumwoyo zvesvo kuti mama wangu zvavakandiita chichi, it will always resonate with them kuti ndakanzwai. I would take, for example, this girl who's been called ugly. To be honest, it will take time for her to even forgive her mom. And Joshua akazononoka kurorwa in the case that maybe she actually doesn't even get married. What does that look like for her? She would just say, I was cursed. My mom akatondiudza kuti arauti handife ndakarorwa. So your first place would want to be in a place of forgiveness. Like, read the word of God, let the word of God help you on how to forgive. And the most important thing for anyone who's been on this type of journey is you have to know that forgiveness is not for the benefit of your toxic parent. Forgiveness is for your own benefit. It's how you release the person. It's how you let go the person in your heart to say, you know what? Yes, you did what you did. It's not okay, but I'm just in a place where I'm letting you go. I'm not holding a grudge against you. I'm not going to hate you forever. Um, but I'm just letting you go. I'm just forgiving you. And one thing about forgiveness, it also doesn't mean be buddy buddies with this person, be besties, be texting this person every day. Forgiveness is something that it's a process that happens in the heart. It's an issue of just letting that person go. Hatisi kuti mangwana achibva watofonera moms wako but day moms chi, because it might be hard in that moment for you to do it, but in your heart you're showing but to rekindle that relationship all over again, it might be something that's going to be difficult, but you work towards it, take baby steps, but work on forgiveness, to just forgive them. And like what Kunda has been saying, that's how they were raised. Maybe that's how they were raised, and they don't know any other way. They might not
mm,
know any other way, or they might think, oh, this is the only way that works. Or sometimes it's just pure ignorance. For me, most of it might just be pure ignorance, not wanting to actually look at things both sides. Pane chatinoti nshona chimbimbi ndoga chekuti I don't care how the next person feels as long as I prove my point. So it comes in different ways. They might not know, they might just have too much pride, or they're just toxic people. They're just nasty. But you just have to forgive them. I'll leave the floor to Kunda.
I would just say I agreed with what Badsy and Tracy are saying, and I'll just add to it. Um, for instance, yeah, your forgiveness. I think majority of the time we say, forgive them. Um, but I think that for you to forgive someone else, you have to kind of forgive yourself first. Because if you're not able to forgive yourself, I don't think you have the capacity of forgiving someone else. Bible runs
Mhm.
if once forgive them as you
Forgive us
forgive
our
them.
trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And it's the Lord's Prayer that says that.
Okay, Tracy. So and love yourself. It has to start with you. You have to love
Mhm.
yourself first. Make a intentional decision to see good in yourself. I think that makes the
Mhm.
process a little bit easier. And recommend, therapy. If you don't believe in it, maybe my ancestors will cleanse or whatever it is that you need to do. But I would say therapy, healing, um, you know, just being better. I think a lot of things in life, it's a choice. So you have to choose yourself. Choose yourself and think highly of yourself. Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes I think setting boundaries, if you know that someone is going to trigger you, there are ways of just protecting yourself. It's okay to protect yourself and your well-being and your peace of mind. That
Mhm.
is that's all we can do. So that's
Yeah.
that's what I that's what I
Okay,
would
And also,
everybody.
and
recommend.
also, just one more thing. We talk a lot about boundaries, guys. I feel like even though they're your parents, vakakurera, vakakudidi, and all that, but if they're toxic, try and find a healthy boundary line. Do you know what I mean? Try
Mm,
and, see how you can go about it, especially for people that were talking about, like their toxic parents who continuously demand for money like all the time. And you know that you don't have the money, and you end up now you're getting
mm,
loans or whatever just because you wanna I don't know, prove a point or to send your parents money or to chi tell them. I know it's not easy because obviously your parent might not want to hear it, but just be honest and just be like, guys, right now things are a bit tight for me. Unfortunately, I can't do what I usually would be able to do. So please, can I just have a bit of space? Makumbira 5,000 and Dina 5,000, but for now, I'm not going to $50 because that's what I have. You know what I mean?
mm,
So I feel like just setting boundaries also, just try. I know it's not easy. It's very hard. It's very difficult. But I feel like if you just don't stretch yourself too much for people, I'll say that. Just don't do like way too much to the point you're now sinking into depression because of that one thing that you're doing for other
Mm.
people. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There are so many revelations that are coming up now. That issue of boundaries, it's a topic that we can also try to tackle because not just with our parents, but with just everyone. People don't know the definition of boundaries actually. Especially when we're talking about our
I
own
very
country people.
disrespectful trying to do boundaries.
Yeah, people don't know boundaries, and I think to parents that are going to stumble across this podcast, let's not hide behind tough love and use tough love as your escape to say, oh, this is tough love. This is why I'm treating you this way. Chi, 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 chi. Have you tried soft love with me and have I not responded for you to go to the extent of wanting to use tough love? So try to be more kinder to your kids because they are the next generation. They are going to be your grandkids' parents. So the way that you're treating them, the way you're nurturing them, the way you're raising them, those are going to be your grandkids' parents. And you know how the grandparents spoil the grandchildren, chi 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 chi, because I don't believe this woman would go naked in front of her grandkids, to be honest. But we are no longer talking about that. But if you ever you're going to stumble across this podcast, we just want to say forgive, child, forgive. Go to therapy if you have to. If you are a believer, if you've got someone that you trust, share with them the things that you went through that are causing you or that you think they are causing your parenting to become toxic, because it doesn't stop at toxic parents. It goes on to toxic parents raising toxic parents, because the children that you're raising, they're also going to become parents. So it just doesn't stop as, oh, my mother was toxic. Some of us are going to carry some of the things that our parents used to do to us with the perception that it's okay to do it because my mom used to do it, so it's fine. I can just clap my child at any time. So if ever you're going to stumble across this podcast, you are loved. God loves you. Um, just try to forgive. Try to move past it. Don't dig yourself into a hole, because I know there are some people out there, we might not know them by name. Like, let's not be judgmental. There are people out there who are actually suffering from things like this. There are people out there who don't want to be in the community, or who are just hiding in a shell. There are people who actually don't even want to be married because of the example of marriage and parenting that they saw from their own parents. So until next time, guys, we are going to be giving you so many other juicy topics to talk about. Thank you if you listen to this one, and I hope you listen to the next one. All right, guys, bye.
Bye.